Welcome back to Red's View. Right, forget everything else going on in football today, because what I'm about to break down for you is the kind of transfer news that genuinely gets the blood pumping if you're a Manchester United fan. We are talking about Real Madrid. We are talking about two of the most exciting midfielders in world football. We are talking about a transfer window that could completely transform this club from top to bottom. And then there's the Marcus Rashford situation. Because just when you thought that chapter was closed, it gets complicated again. This is a big video. This is a proper detailed breakdown of where United stand heading into what could genuinely be their most important summer transfer window in a decade. So if you're new here, welcome to Red's View. Hit that subscribe button. And if you're part of the family already, you already know what time it is. So let's start with the headline, the one that genuinely made me stop scrolling when I saw it. According to journalist Dean Jones, writing for FlashScore, Manchester United are monitoring the situation of two Real Madrid midfielders, Aurélien Tchouaméni and Eduardo Camavinga. Let me just let that sink in for a second. Two Real Madrid midfielders, both world class, both in their early 20s, both potentially available this summer. Now, before we get carried away, and I know how we are as United fans, myself included, let's break down exactly what's being reported here and what it actually means. The reason United are in the market for midfield reinforcements is no secret. Casemiro is leaving at the end of the season on a free transfer. The Brazilian has been the heartbeat of United's defensive midfield for the past few years, and replacing that kind of presence, that experience, that intensity is not easy. But Ineos know that, and it seems like Director of Football Jason Wilcox and Head of Recruitment Christopher Vivell are taking it seriously. Because reports are saying they don't just want one new midfielder this summer, they want two. Two midfield additions to reshape the engine room of this squad. That's a statement of intent right there. Now, why are Tchouaméni and Camavinga even available? That's the key question. Here's the context you need. Real Madrid are reportedly looking to revamp their own midfield this summer, and the names they've been linked with tell you everything. Enzo Fernandez from Chelsea, Rodri from Manchester City. If Real Madrid are bringing in players of that calibre, then the midfielders already there could find their positions under serious threat. Camavinga arrived at the Bernabeu from Rennes back in August 2021 for around 40 million euros. United, our United, were actually one of the clubs that missed out on him at the time, so there's history there. Then Tchouaméni followed from Monaco in July 2022 in a deal worth up to 100 million euros. 100 million euros. That tells you exactly what kind of player we're talking about. Both have featured regularly for Real. Tchouaméni in particular has been a mainstay, starting 23 of their 27.
Camavinga has had slightly fewer minutes, but his quality is absolutely undeniable.
So if Real do go out and sign Fernandez and Rodri, and there's a real possibility of that happening, then suddenly Tchouaméni and Camavinga go from being key players to being fringe players overnight. And no player at that level, at that age, wants to be sitting on the bench at Real Madrid when they could be the main man somewhere else. That is the window United are looking to climb through. Okay, my honest take, and I mean honest. If United can get either of these players, let alone both, it would be one of the most exciting pieces of transfer business this club has done since the early days of the Fergie era. And I don't say that lightly. Let's talk about Tchouaméni first. The man is 24 years old. He is a defensive midfielder who can absolutely do it all. He wins the ball back. He reads the game. He distributes intelligently. He covers ground at an incredible rate. And, crucially, he can actually play forward. He's not just a ball winner who passes sideways. He's evolved significantly since joining Real Madrid. He has the Casemiro DNA in terms of that destroyer role, but with a much higher technical ceiling. For United, he would be the perfect long-term successor to what Casemiro gave this club. Now Camavinga, different profile entirely. He is one of the most dynamic box-to-box midfielders in world football. The energy this guy brings is extraordinary. His ability to carry the ball, link play, and get up and down the pitch relentlessly is the kind of thing United's midfield has been crying out for. And he's only 22. 22. The peak years haven't even come yet. Together, genuinely, if United signed both Tchouaméni and Camavinga, you're looking at arguably the best midfield pair in the Premier League. That's not exaggeration, that's just the truth. But, and this is a big but, it's not going to be simple. There are three major complications. First, Real Madrid. Are they actually prepared to sell? Because Real don't just let world-class players leave easily. Even if their squad dynamics change, getting them over the line on a sale is a different conversation entirely. Second, the price. Neither of these players will be cheap. Tchouaméni alone cost Real 100 million euros 3 years ago. His value hasn't dropped. Camavinga at 22, with his profile, you're looking at serious money. And third, competition. United will not be the only club watching this situation. Every top club in Europe will be circling if these players become available. Which brings me to the most important point of all. Champions League football. Without it, this entire conversation changes. United simply cannot compete financially for players of this calibre without Champions League revenue. It's that simple. The summer's ambition is completely tied to what happens between now and May. That's why every single point from here to the end of the season is worth more than just 3 points. It's worth the right to dream about summers like this. Now let's shift to the other major story, Marcus Rashford. And look, I know opinions on Rashford are divided in this fan base right now. I know some of you never want to see him in a red shirt again. And I know some of you still have a soft spot for the lad who came through the academy and scored on his debut against Arsenal all those years ago. Both feelings are valid, but let's just look at the facts. Rashford left United at the start of this season on a season-long loan to Barcelona after Ruben Amorim famously left him out of the squad and put him in what became known as the bomb squad. Not exactly the smoothest exit. A £26 million buy option was inserted into the loan agreement, meaning Barcelona have the right to sign him permanently for that fee. And here's the thing, Rashford has actually done well at Barcelona. In 38 appearances, he has registered 10 goals and 10 assists. And before anyone says, yeah, but he was a backup, you're right, he was. He spent a large chunk of the season backing up Rafinha, Lewandowski and Lamine Yamal, three of the best attacking players on the planet. And he still managed a goal contribution every couple of games. That's not nothing. So now the future is getting complicated. Barcelona want to sign him permanently. Rashford himself reportedly wants to stay in Spain. And Fabrizio Romano, whose word on these things carries serious weight, has given us a really detailed picture of where things stand. Romano says personal terms between Rashford and Barcelona are almost agreed. The contract is essentially ready. But here's the sticking point. Barcelona are going through presidential elections right now, which means no official club-to-club negotiations can happen until that process is complete. And United's position? Romano says it clearly. Manchester United are not negotiating on the price. Barcelona pay the 30 million euros, the 26 million pounds buy option, or Rashford comes back. Full stop. And Romano added that if Barcelona don't pay, United are completely relaxed because they believe there will be plenty of clubs interested in signing Rashford after his successful spell in Spain. So United hold all the cards here in terms of leverage. They're not desperate to sell. They're not chasing Barcelona for a deal. They're simply saying, meet the price or
the player returns. United have also already started building their replacement shortlist, reportedly a 5-man list that includes at least one Premier League player.
This one is more complicated for me personally. And I want to be real with you. Part of me, the nostalgic part, always had a window open for a Rashford redemption arc at Old Trafford. The lad is from Salford. He came through the academy. At his best, he was genuinely one of the most exciting attackers in the world. Remember the 2019-20 season? Remember the goals he scored? That felt like watching something special. But, and this is important, the Rashford that left United in the summer was not that player anymore. The form had been poor for 2 seasons. The attitude questions were mounting, and Amorim clearly felt he wasn't the right fit for what he was building. That decision, whatever you think of it, was made for football reasons. Now he's done well at Barcelona. Good. I genuinely mean that. I want to see Rashford succeed. But the question is, does it make sense to bring him back to United? Honestly, I don't think so. Not right now. United need to move forward. They've got a new project, a new identity forming under Carrick, and they're already building a replacement shortlist. Bringing Rashford back into that environment, unless there was a complete and total reset in his relationship with the club, feels like going backwards. The smart play is simple. Barcelona pay the £26 million, United take the money, invest it into the summer rebuild, and everyone moves on cleanly. And if Barcelona don't pay, then United sell elsewhere. Because Romano is right. After this season, there will be queues for Rashford. He's proven his quality again. He's restored his value. United should absolutely cash in and redirect that money into the new midfield project. Let's pull all of this together and talk about what it means for the club, because the implications are massive. The summer of 2026 is shaping up to be genuinely transformative for Manchester United. And I use that word carefully because we've heard transformation before, we've heard new era before, but this time the pieces are actually there for it to be real. Think about what we're potentially talking about. Tchouaméni in defensive midfield, Camavinga in a box-to-box role, Bruno Guimaraes being pursued, Sandro Tonali being monitored, Bradley Barcola on the wing. That's not a squad rebuild, that's a statement. That's a club that means business again. But, and I cannot stress this enough, it all starts and ends with the Champions League. Every single one of these targets, every single one of these ambitions requires the financial platform that Champions League football provides. Without it, Ineos are forced to operate at a completely different level. The Tchouaméni and Camavinga conversations don't happen. The Bruno Guimaraes bid doesn't reach £100 million. The whole vision shrinks. So the remaining games of this season aren't just about finishing 3rd or 4th. They're about unlocking a summer that could set this club up for the next 5 years. Reach 100 million. The whole vision shrinks. So the remaining games of this season aren't just about finishing 3rd or 4th. They're about unlocking a summer that could set this club up for the next 5 years. On Rashford, the implication is straightforward. Whether he stays at Barcelona permanently or moves somewhere else, United should come out of this with £26 million minimum. That money goes straight back into the transfer budget. Clean, efficient, no sentiment. The Rashford chapter at United is closing. And that's okay. Sometimes chapters have to close for the book to get better. Right, let me bring it all together for you. Manchester United are standing at a crossroads, and I genuinely believe, for the first time in a long time, that the people making the decisions at this club understand what's needed. The Tchouaméni and Camavinga reports are early. They're monitoring stages. Nothing is done, nothing is close. But the intent is there. The ambition is there. Wilcox and Vivell are looking at the best midfielders in world football. Not championship free agents, not cheap fixes, but genuine world-class talent. And that matters. The Rashford situation will resolve itself cleanly, one way or another. United have done their business well here, inserted a buy option, let him rebuild his value, and now they either receive £26 million or they sell him elsewhere. No drama, no mess. That's smart. But here's the bottom line. Here's the thing I want you to take away from this video. Everything comes back to Champions League qualification. Win those games. Support this team in these final weeks. because what happens on that pitch between now and May is directly connected to whether we're talking about Tchouaméni and Camavinga as Real players or as United players come August. That's the reality. That's the stakes. And I think deep down, every single Red knows it. Come on, United. Let's go and earn this summer. If you enjoyed this breakdown, drop a like. It genuinely helps the channel more than you know. Let me know in the comments, which one would you rather have? Tchouaméni or Camavinga? Or are you dreaming of both? I'll be reading every single reply. Subscribe if you're new. Welcome to Reds View, and I'll see you in the next one.